Maybe we continue.
Yes, I'm recording
Okay, you are
currently.
recording.
Yes, and
Okay,
I'll send it to you. Okay, so I was
okay, sir.
talking about major seventh chords, and I said, of course, as you can see from the screen, the symbols will be something like a C with a capital M and then a 7. That's one way they can write it. Sometimes they will write it as E flat with a maj, as in MAJ, and then you put a 7th. Okay, that will be an E
Yeah.
flat major 7th. Sometimes they write it as a triangle. So you see something like an A flat with a triangle there, and then you put a 7th. So if you see any of those symbols, what they are trying to say is the C, or what they are trying to do, notate is the major 7th chord, okay? And the notes of the major 7th chord will go, whatever scale you are playing, pick the first note, pick the third note, pick the
5,
fifth note, and pick the
6,
seventh.
7.
So here you have a major 7th. It's very important to distinguish this from the dominant 7th. If you remember, I said that dominant 7th, you are going to flatten the
Yeah, that's
7th.
flat 7.
So this is a dominant 7. This is a major
Yeah.
7, okay? So what if I ask you to spell out the notes of F sharp major 7th? You can play F sharp, right?
Yes, I can, yes.
So what would the first notes be?
So 1, 3, 5, 7. That's F sharp,
F sharp,
B flat,
B flat,
C sharp,
C sharp,
and E.
and E. Beautiful. So that's an F sharp major 7.
Sorry, and F. Sorry, not E. F.
Oh, I'm sorry, F actually. Oh my God, sorry about that. It's F. E is the flatted 7th. Yeah, so sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the major ninth, of course, the same logic follows. If I do it on C, I have C major 7, and then I'll add the ninth to it. Okay, so what I have
Yes.
here is C major 9. And as I said to you last week, a method of voicing this is to take those three highest notes, D, B, and G, and put it in your right hand. And just take that word and put it in your left hand. Okay. Or you can take the four highest notes, E, G, B, and D, put it in your right hand. Take the words, put it in your left hand. So what I have here is an E, I'm sorry, a C major 9. Sometimes you can think of it as an E minor 7 over C, okay? But the full nomenclature is C major 9, okay? Now the next one is tricky. I'm going to go ahead and scroll over beautiful. The next one is a little tricky. And it's like that because um, if you see, I called it major 11th, but I put a question mark there. Okay. So if I were to play a major 11th, I have 1, 3, 5, I have 7, I have 9, and then I'll
9.
have 11. Okay. But
Ooh.
you see, if you see in this chord, I have F there and I have E
Yes.
here, right? So usually
Yes.
that's considered as being dissonant. So instead of playing that F, usually what they would do, they would raise that F by a semitone so that it's not so dissonant against the E anymore, right? So instead of playing this as a major 11, it is usually played as a major 9 chord, and then the sharp 11 is added to it. So it's
Wow.
notated as C major 9 with sharp 11, okay? So that's
Wow.
the distinction there. I hope it's clear, right?
Yeah.
Are
But it
you
was a bit
sure?
confusing.
Okay, I'll go over. I need to do something. As I'm speaking, the mic is coming back to me, so I need to switch it off better so it doesn't echo. Please say hello. Let me be sure I can still hear you.
Yes,
Okay,
I can
beautiful.
hear you clearly.
Yeah, this is much better for me. So I'll explain it again. I'm attempting to explain the major 11th, right?
11.
Can you spell the
Yes.
notes that should make up the C major 11 for me? I have
Yeah,
one,
that's
right?
C, E, G, B, D.
Mhm.
But you said, it's supposed to be F. But
Beautiful.
you
It's
said
supposed to be F.
due to the
Yes.
nature of the 11th, like the major 11th,
Mhm.
it will be sharp.
I said,
We are going to sharp it.
let me explain. I said this chord, as you can see, contains a major third, and right next
Yes,
to it, it contains a fourth or an 11th, right? If I were to put
yes,
those two side by side, you see here, I have a third and the fourth right next to it, right? And
yes.
it's usually considered as dissonant, okay? So instead of
Okay,
having these 3 and 4 right next to each other, what they do,
yes,
excuse me, what they do is that they'll take that 4, that F, and they raise it up
yes,
by semitone so that it becomes F sharp, okay? So that that
okay,
dissonance between the third and that fourth is not there anymore. Okay, so if I take that F sharp and I put it on top where it came from, the chord is like that. Okay, so
okay.
this chord is usually notated as a C major 9 with a sharp 11. Do you understand it now?
Yes,
Okay, so it's notated as a C major 9 with a sharp 11. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so if I were to play a major 13, can you spell out the notes for me then? C major 13.
13. So that's C, D,
No?
G,
C
C,
what?
E,
Mhm,
C, E,
mhm,
G,
mhm.
B, D,
I didn't hear that.
D,
D, okay.
D, F sharp. No, wait, yes, F sharp and that should be maybe A. I don't know. I guess it should be A.
Beautiful. It's correct. You're correct. So what I have here is a C major 13. And again, in this case, because of that dissonant 11th, it's raised. So this chord is not just called a C13, it is called a C13 with a sharp 11. I intentionally didn't go to the next page of the slide, but I'll do that quickly so that you can see that it's notated there for you right there, okay? So what you have is a C major 13
Wow.
with a sharp 11, okay? Again, if you want to play this chord, you can take the highest 3 notes or the highest 4 notes and put it in your right hand, and in your left hand, just put the notes there. Okay, so you probably hear this chord a lot. You probably even use it a lot. Maybe you're playing crown, crown, many crowns. You know that song, right?
Which song?
It's a hymn, right?
No, I don't
Okay,
think I know it.
okay. But you hear some like, let me see. I will lift I'm trying to see a song. Or okay, let me use okay, right? You know that one, right?
Yes,
Okay, beautiful. What was the chord again? C major 13 with sharp 11, right?
yes.
So what will I have in my right hand, if you remember?
S- So the highest is A, F sharp, D, and
B.
B.
Okay, if I throw that B away, I'll have like a D major chord in my right hand. Am I correct?
Yes, D major. Yes,
Beautiful. And in my left hand, I'll have C. So let's see.
C.
Oh, Lord. Did you see that? Did you see that? I'll do it again. C to the
Yeah.
D major chord. Do you see that? D major in my right hand.
Okay. That
If
look
you,
like a fee, right?
exactly, like it's a D major chord. This is it right here.
Okay.
So, but I'm playing it this way, like that. So I'll do it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
There. Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so you see what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah.
That's so this chord right here, it's a C major 13, right? Or you
Yes.
can notate it as D major over C. Okay. So that's
Yes.
how we'll come to applications in a second, how you can apply these things and make your songs sound better. But
Yes.
so far, those are all major 7 chords and extensions and its extensions. So we have done dominant 7 chords and extensions. We have done major 7 chord and extensions. I hope you understand, right? Do you?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful.
Yes.
Now, quickly, I want to go on to talk about minor chords and its extensions. Oh, I didn't finish this slide. It looks like I didn't finish it. So this is what I'm going to do. 1 second, please. I'm going to develop the
Okay.
slide as we work. So, and I thought I finished it. Okay, so this is what I'll just do. I'll take this. Come on now, come on. I'll duplicate this guy. I'll bring it to the bottom. And now I'll say minor chords. Okay. I hope you can still see it. Minor chords and its
Yes.
extensions. Good. So the first one we are going to look at is the minor 7th chord. Now this is tricky. It's a very tricky name. But if you remember, I told you about 7th chords. I said because dominant 7th is a mouthful. So every time, instead of
Yes.
going all the way to say dominant 7, every time you get 7th, it actually means dominant 7th. So what they actually want to say is minor dominant 7th. Okay. That's what they want to say. But because it's a mouthful, they usually just shorten it to minor 7th. You understand it, right?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So the symbols here, you have something like a C with a small m and then a 7th. Or you have something like with an E flat with a dash and then a 7 in front of it, okay? All of those are symbols for the minor 7th, okay? So,
Okay.
the notes that make up a minor chord, right? They pick the
Yes.
first note of the scale. Go
The,
on.
the, the, the third will be flat.
Beautiful. The fifth will be flat. But because it's a dominant 7th, we're also going to flatten that 7th, okay? So if I
Yeah, the
want to play it,
seventh.
yeah, it's C minor 7. I'm going to have this, right?
Yeah.
It's C minor 7th. Do you understand it?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is the C minor 9th. Okay, and I'm sure you get the idea already how this will be. What do you think the symbol will be for the C minor 9th?
So that will be C, the, say the note or the
A
num or the fingering.
symbol. It's a
Yeah, the
C with a
symbols.
small m, or
Yes,
you
C,
have, mhm,
um, E flat,
mhm.
G.
No, I'm talking about the symbols, not the notes. How
Okay,
will you note?
one third flat, the
No,
one third flat.
symbols, as in when you want to write it in shorthand
Okay,
on
the
paper.
symbol. Okay, okay,
Yes,
okay. The minor
that's
ninth. Okay, so
beautiful,
it will be C small m
beautiful. And a 9, right?
9. Yes,
Beautiful. The same thing applies here. Its note will be 1, the flattened third, the fifth, the 7th, and the
seventh,
9th. You know
and the
what? I'm
ninth.
going to leave this for you as an assignment. Okay. So, what I want to see from you in the next class, I'd like for you to write for me the notes of, I've done minor 7th, minor 9th. I want you to do for me the minor 11th and the minor 13th. Okay, it's simple. No
Minor
trick.
11th
Yes, no
and
tricks on this
13th.
one, right? So I'd like for you to try this one out. There are no tricks like we had with the sharp 11. It's simple and straightforward. Okay, so I hope we're clear with
Yes,
minor 7 chords, right?
yes,
Okay, there's a last category that I would still like us to look at. And this time, this one here, I'm going to have it as a minor major seventh chord. Okay. Remember I said for major sevenths, they will always call it out in full. But for dominant seventh, you can shorten it. So what's the symbol here? Say you want to play C minor major seventh. You are going to have a capital C.
C, capital M.
Small m for minor.
Okay, for minor, yes.
Then capital M for major. And then you add the 7. Okay. What are the notes here? Can you guess the notes? Can you give me the notes here?
C minor major 7.
Yeah, we'll pick the first note of the scale.
Yes, 1, 3 flats and 3, I guess. 1, 3 flat and 3.
And 3? No.
C minor. Okay, so 1, 3 flat, 5.
5.
7.
7. Is that all?
Yes.
Actually, you are correct. I was just pulling your leg. Okay, so that's the minor major 7. So you have C, for instance, E flat, you have G, and then you have B. I don't know if you've heard this song. Let me see. Okay, let me see. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Do you know that song?
Yes.
And then it goes. No, I don't think that's the right song. Let me see. This one is a secular song by, I think, Steve Wonder.
Steve Wonder.
I don't know if you know it. You see that D minor major 7 now.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you see the left hand, what he's doing is that he's playing D minor, then he went to D minor major 7th, then D minor 7th, then back to D minor major 7th. You see, just to create that tension. So I think the song is called I just call to say I love you, something like that. Okay. So yeah, you know the song, do you?
I think I've heard the song before.
Yeah, it's an old song, a very old song. So that's the minor major 7th. Okay. And if we extend, by extension here, we are going to have the minor.
But you know, for the D minor, your last note, you hold C sharp.
Yes, that's the major 7th. If you look at it, D minor. Do you understand it?
I'll play D. Yeah, 7th. Yeah. You hold C sharp. So yes, that was D. Yeah, C sharp.
Yes.
I think I understand.
Beautiful. So in the key of 7th. Yes, that's the 7th right there. So that's it right there. Okay, so the next one is minor major 9th. Okay, the same idea will follow. Here I have C, capital C, small m, capital M, and a 9th. Okay, I'm going to have the first note of the scale, the flattened third, the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th. Okay, so yes, and so on and so forth. So again, your second assignment will be for you to complete for me. I'd like for you to tell me, fill out this table, but this time around, I want you to give me the minor major 11th and the minor major 13th. Okay, so those would be your assignments.
11th and minor major 13th.
Okay, for the 11th and 13th is probably going to be, okay, I think it's fine. I think it's fine, actually. I think it's fine, yeah. So it's simple, it's straightforward. Okay, so having said all of this now, let's go to applications. How do all these chords we have been talking about, how do we apply them? What do we do with all of them? And it's simple if you can keep everything simple. I'll try to insert a new slide here, and I'm going to say, give me 1 second, title and content. So I'm going to call this applications. How do we apply all of this? Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that chords are in families, okay?
Sorry, please. Can you make the letter black a
Black.
bit darker or bolder?
Or
Or
the
a
one
bit
on top
bolder?
or the one below?
The both, so it can be clearer.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make this
Okay, yeah.
40,
That's good.
and I'll do same.
Oh,
I'll
maybe
make
bold.
this bold. Okay, so
Okay.
chords are in families. What are those families? The first family of chords is number 1, major chords. The second one, they are minor chords. The third family, they are dominant chords. Okay. Now, if you can, all these chords we have talked about so far will usually fall into one of these categories. Okay. It will usually fall into one of these categories. Let me bullet this. Beautiful. Okay. Now you need to understand that this major chord might have variants that are altered as well. Okay. They are still the same family, whether it's in its original state or it has been altered. Okay. When I say altered, think of that sharp 11. When you begin to introduce those sharps and flats, what you are doing is that you are altering them. Are you with me? Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so it's simple. Okay, you know how to use major chords already. Let's just say these are the building blocks. Okay, when you play a song, probably the first thing you should do is to play it with major chords alone. So I want to play a song and say hallelujah, right? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You see, what I did there, I played with only major chords, okay?
Yes.
So, how do we use minor chords? You can use them as relative minors to the major chords, okay? You understand that, right? We talked about that last week. Beautiful.
Yes.
So that's a way to use minor chords. So if I take that same song, I played hallelujah, right? Hallelujah, hallelujah. See, instead of playing this C major chord again,
Yes.
I can switch to its relative minor. Did you see that?
Yes.
So instead of punching this C twice, I can decide to play C once and switch to its relative minor chords. Now that's one way to apply minor chords. The dominant chords is where it gets interesting, okay? But before I go to the dominant chords, I want to say that anywhere you can play a major chord, you can decide to switch it up to a C major 7, or a C major 9, or a C major 9 with sharp 11. Where is that sharp guy now? Come on, where are you? Sharp 11. You can decide to switch it up to C major 13 with sharp 11. They will all function in the same manner. Why? Because they belong to the same family. They are all major chords. So it doesn't matter all the sharps, it doesn't matter the color it comes with. Fundamentally, it is a major chord and it will function the same way. I hope that's clear. You understand it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just that the sound will be a bit.
Exactly. Okay. It just comes with more colors. but it will function
more
the same
chords.
way. Yeah. The same thing with minor chords. Anywhere you can play a minor chord, you can switch it up to a minor 7. You can switch it up to a minor 9. You can switch it up to a minor 11. You can switch it up to a minor 13. They will all perform the same functions. Why? Because they are all minor chords. Fundamentally, they are minor chords. It's just that some of them comes with extra color, but they are all fundamentally the same. They have the same functions. The same thing with dominant chords. Anywhere you can play a dominant 7, you can decide to switch it to, anywhere you can play a dominant 7, you can switch it to a dominant 9th, you can switch it to a dominant 11th, you can switch it to a dominant 13th, okay? But how do we use these dominant chords in the first place? Dominant chords are, looks like my gen has gone off. I hope my computer battery will stay, but I'll just keep on going. Can you still see my face?
Yes, I can see you.
Beautiful. Okay. So
the most is your system and your voice.
Yes. I don't know.
I can hear your voice.
Okay, my keyboard is still on too.
I can hear it. Yeah.
Okay. So, how do dominant chords function? Dominant chords are used to create tension. They are used to create tension. Okay. And usually, when you create tension, tension is looking for a release. It's looking for a resolution. Okay. So usually, when you create that tension, it usually resolves or it resolves to the chord that is a fourth above. I think we talked about this too last week. Okay. So if I play a C7, let me not populate this page too much. I'll just duplicate this page, go to the next one, and take this guy out. Okay. So if I play a C7 chord, it will be looking for resolution going up C, D, E, F. You see, it went up 4 steps, okay? So it will be looking for a resolution to an F major chord, okay? Major chord. So, yeah. So if I go ahead and play that on the board, you hear something like, this is C dominant 7th, right?
Yes.
And then it is looking for a resolution up here. Okay. It sounds like it's complete then. If I play this alone, it sounds like there should be more, like it's a question that needs an answer. Okay. But immediately you play that, you feel that aha kind of thing that, okay, now the end has come. Okay. So if I play a B7 chord, okay, a B7 chord will be looking for a resolution. How? Let's count B, C, D, and E, okay? So it should be looking for a resolution on the E major chord. This is B7 right here, right? And it's looking for a resolution on E major right there, okay? What if I play an F7 chord? Where do you think it will resolve to? Like I said, think of it like a do, re, mi, fa, start from F and do a do, re, mi,
it's a B flat.
Beautiful. It will resolve to a B flat major chord, B flat, okay? So that's how it works. So this is the logic then behind it. And this is what people do to beautify their songs. If I'm playing a song and my first song goes hallelujah, hallelujah, right? That's a C major chord, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the trick is that instead of playing this C major alone, what if I decide to use its tension chord first? Do you know what its tension chord will be?
So that's the dominant.
Yes, the dominant that we want to resolve to C.
Yes, having a flat 7.
No. You don't understand. C7, if you look at the screen again, C7 is the tension chord. This C7 right here.
Yes.
Tension
then
chord.
Move it to the 4th.
Then it releases to F major, right?
Yes, to the 4th.
Okay.
Yes, F major.
Beautiful. In the second example, what's the tension chord?
When we are playing from
second example, the tension chord is
okay,
B7.
B.
You understand?
B.
Do you understand?
I think I'm a bit lost. Sorry.
Okay, I'll explain it again. I was saying that dominant chords. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Good. I was saying that dominant chords create tension. They are used to create tension.
Yes.
And that tension is usually looking for a resolution. That resolution usually will happen a fourth above, okay?
Yes.
It will usually happen a fourth above, okay? Let me duplicate this guy, beautiful. And here, I'm going to take all of this out and put this here, good. And so I started out with the example of a C7 chord, right?
Yes.
The C7 chord will go up to F major for its resolution. So in other words, I can say the tension chord is C7, okay? C7 creates the tension, right?
Yes.
And F major creates the release, right?
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. In the second example, the tension chord is B7, right?
B7, yes.
Good. And
that was what I was saying.
Yes, and the release will be E major, correct?
E major, yes, yes.
Beautiful. In this third example here, what's the tension chord? In the third example, what's the tension chord?
F7.
Beautiful.
That's F dominant.
And the release chord will be what?
B major, B flat major.
You get the idea now. So I want to play a song, and the song is Hallelujah. Eh. What's the chord I'm holding right now?
C major.
Beautiful. Think of that C major as your release chord. Do you understand? Yeah. So what will be its tension chord?
So adding a flat 7, that's C7.
No, you don't get the idea.
Okay, you mean the tension. Okay, the release will be F major.
No, C major is the release. So you have to walk your step back. That's what I'm trying to explain to you now. It's like starting from B flat, that is the release chord. And I say, what's the tension chord? So you have to walk back to get to F7, that is the tension chord. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
in
this situation now, what's the release chord here? Example 2.
So example 2, that would be E flat.
E major is the release chord.
Sorry, E major, sorry.
What would be the tension chord?
That's B flat. That's B7.
Beautiful.
B7, yes.
Example 1, what's the release chord?
The tension for the example 1.
Release.
The release. Yes, the release would be, the example 1 would be F major.
Beautiful. What's its tension chord?
The tension chord is C7.
Beautiful. Okay, so now think of C as the release chord. What will be its tension chord?
That would be G.
You get the idea. Beautiful. So G7 as its tension to C. In other words, instead of me just playing hallelujah, I can do this. Hallelujah. Did you hear that? I play G7 first, and then I will take me up to a C. I created the tension first. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So you see it. What if I want to play hallelujah? Oh. Hallelujah, right? This G. I want to think of this G major here as my release chord. What will be its tension chord?
That would be D7.
Beautiful. You get the idea. So instead of just striking that G and making it bland, I can introduce its tension chord first, like that. D7 before I go up to G. So I'll play the song again. Hallelujah, you see that? Hallelujah, oh. Hallelujah, Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's a sound of victory. Hallelujah, Hallelujah, oh. Let the sound. I'm beginning to. So I wanted to play like D7 again. But instead of playing it bland, I walked into it. I approached it like that from here. That's D7 right now. I'm playing a voicing of D7. You see? So that's what I did. Okay. But you get the idea how dominant seven chords work now. Okay. Now, if you have this simple idea under your sleeve, everything becomes simple. Everything becomes straightforward. All you need to do is take all those gazillion chords and put them into families. And straight away, you know how to use them. Okay? C major, sharp 11, sharp 110, sharp 20, 55, blah, blah, blah. At its fundamental, it is a major chord. So straight away, you know how to apply it. C minor, kinikon, shake, kinikon, one thing. At its basic, it's a minor chord. You know how to apply it. Same thing with a dominant seventh chord, okay? So I'm going to begin some applications right away, and I'll be doing, oops, what did I just do? I'm sorry, I'm going to have to undo that. And I'm going to be, okay, duplicate slide. Here, I'm going to be using some songs as examples. But before I do that, I want to list a process. The first thing you should always do, or that I will recommend, first thing is to always play the song using major, oops, come on now, major chords only. I will recommend this even if you know the song. Even though you know where all the minors are, the first step, play it using only major chords. Second step is to then begin to introduce relative minor chords. The third step, begin to introduce come on now, where are you? Introduce dominant seventh chords, okay? And finally, you can begin to introduce colors, okay? So that's the step we'll always follow for this class. It will get to a point you don't have to follow the steps anymore, because you have, think of it when you were in say kindergarten, and they say 1 + 2, it's like serious business for you. You begin to count on your fingers and say 1 + 2 before you get the answer. Right now, I can ask you, say 1 + 2. You don't even have to think about it. Straight away, you give it to me. It's interaction. You have interacted with it over the years, such that you don't need to follow those steps anymore. It's the same thing happening here. It will get to a point where you don't have to go through it, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. But because we are just learning it, I would recommend that we go through these steps. So let's pick a song. Give me an example of a simple song. Example of a simple song that we can quickly trash in class. Yeah.
Anyone like
any simple worship song?
A simple worship song. Let me see. Maybe open the floodgates of heaven.
Okay.
Let it rain, let it rain.
Open the floodgates of heaven. Okay. So the first chord is I'm playing with only major chords, right? Let it rain.
Yes.
right? Open the floodgates of heaven. So my chords went from let it rain, F major. I played F again, F to G, and then I played C, and then ended with G. Let me just take that. Let it rain, let it rain. Open the floodgates of heaven, right? So you see how the song goes, okay? So,
Yes.
let it rain. Ah, this is a tricky example, but I'll try,
So I
okay?
should give you another song.
Yes, let's try another song.
Let's try another song. Uh, but this one also probably start with maybe the fourth again, like casting crown. Okay.
Okay, let's do casting crowns. Let's do casting crowns. Casting
Okay.
crowns. So it goes, again, I want to play with only major chords. Casting crowns, right?
Yes.
Lifted hands, bowing down, right? So the chords I played
Yes.
were casting crowns, F. I played that twice.
Yes.
Lifting hands, oops, sorry. Lifting hands, bowing hearts is all we came to do. Okay, so that's the song right there with major chords only. What's
Yeah.
supposed to be our step 2?
Step 2 is to introduce relative minor chords.
Beautiful. So you see here, I have 2 F majors going on, right?
Yes.
So what if I decide to take one out and use that as relative minor? Do you know the relative minor of F major?
Yeah. Yeah. We should walk 3 steps back, which is
Beautiful.
that's the second. That's the D.
D what? D what?
D minor. Yes. D minor.
Beautiful.
Yes. You
So
correct me.
here
D
I have
minor.
it now. So if I play what's on screen now, it should go something like a casting crowns to F now. Lifting hands to the C. Bowing down hearts is what we came to do. Now this sounds more like what Nathaniel Bassey did in the song. So you see, as a matter of fact, that is what he
Yeah.
actually did in the song. Okay. Casting, I'll do it again. Casting crowns, right?
Yeah.
Lifting hands,
Yes.
bowing hearts. It's what we come to do, right? So you see that. Let's
Yes.
see. Is there any way we can now introduce dominant 7 chords in this song? Remember that, let me see. Okay, I think there's somewhere we can. Suppose I want to introduce a dominant 7 chord between D minor and F. So that means I'm going to think of F major as my release chord. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Beautiful. If F then is the release chord, what will be the tension chord?
That's B.
No, try again. F is the release.
Yes.
So what will be the
Okay. That's
tension
C.
chord?
That's C.
C.
That's C. Yes.